Greetings YouTube, Joe here with Culination Media, and welcome back to another episode of The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. This is episode number 39, and in this episode we're going to be finishing off the Ice Cavern. But first we have a mini-boss to tangle with here, and it is the White Wolfos. Lure it close to you and watch its movement carefully. Attack it when it drops its guard. It's very much like the regular just Wolfos that we fought near the Forest Temple and inside the Forest Temple as well. The only difference is it has a little bit of a higher defense. If you can get a jump slash off on its tail effectively, you will be able to kill it pretty fast in 1 or 2 hits, I'm assuming. They'll throw the bomb lake. There you go. You can also kill them with bombs that way, or just slicing them when they go to slice you because they drop their guard. And as you can see, he goes down pretty quickly there. Not much of a fight. The door will unlock after you defeat him, and a treasure chest will appear with a dungeon item in the center of the room. And for some reason he also dropped Dooku Nuts, which is an interesting item for a White Wolfos to drop. Anyway, the dungeon item for the Ice Cavern is the Iron Boots. So heavy you can't run, so heavy you can't float. So that will help you sink to the bottom of water, I guess pools and oceans, rivers, all that good stuff. We actually will need to do that come water temple time, but we're not quite there yet. It's Sheik. If you came here to meet the Zoras, you wasted your time. This is all there is. With one exception, the Zoras are now sealed under this thick ice sheet. I managed to rescue the Zora princess from under the ice, but she left to head for the water temple. And Sheik is referring to Rudo, of course. This ice is created by an evil curse. The monster in the water temple is the source of the curse. Unless you shut off the source, this ice will never melt. That is so sad. If you have courage enough to confront the danger and save the Zoras, I will teach you the melody that leads to the temple. So it's going to be the Serenade of Water. Time passes. People move. Like a river's flow, it never ends. Such deep words from Sheik, as always. A childish mind will turn to noble ambition. Young love will become deep affection. The clear water's surface reflects growth. Now listen to the Serenade of Water to reflect upon yourself. And we definitely are not going to reflect upon ourselves, that's for sure. But we are going to have to know the Serenade of Water, and it is a very easy melody to remember. As although there's no real repetition going on here with the same 3 notes being repeated, it's only a total of 5 notes, that being the entire song. So once we learn that, that will allow us to warp to Lake Helia, but we're not going to be doing that just yet because we also have a side quest to finish, and that is the Biggoron sword side quest that we started a couple of episodes ago. You have learned the Serenade of Water. Culination, I'll see you again. And Sheik is going to disappear, as always. And we're going to be heading back to the Zora's domain to free King Zora from his ice capture, whatever you want to call it. Let's go back. Alright, we're back in the Zora's domain, and of course we have a couple of blue fire left in our bottle, so we're going to use one of them to free King Zora here, and that will free him of the red ice that has held him captive for who knows how long. We can go talk to him now. Oh, I've come back to life. Yes, you sure have. Was it you who saved me? Don't be nervous. It looks like you have a hard time breathing underwater. That I do, because I'm not a fish. As an expression of my gratitude, I grant you this tunic. With this, you won't choke underwater. So, we receive the Zora tunic. This diving suit is adult size, so it won't fit a kid. Wear it, and you won't drown underwater. So we can now use the Iron Boots underwater for as long as we want, and not have to worry about drowning or having a time limit while we're under the water. And that holds especially true coming up with the water temple. We're going to be underwater a lot, way more than I would care to be. So we're going to need this tunic. Alright, so let's go back to the side quest now. This is eye drops. You might say we have them, you might say we don't. We do have the ingredients, so you don't have the eye drops then. If you take the ingredients to the doctor at the lake laboratory, he can make the drops for you. But you need to deliver them fresh. Can you make it before they spoil? And we're going to say yes, and we're going to be under a strict time limit. Yet again, we have 2 things in a row that are going to be time limit based. So we got an eyeball frog, and we have to be quick and deliver it to Lake Hylia while it's still cold. So we have exactly 3 minutes to get there, and we're going to need at least like 2.5 of those minutes. More like 2 minutes and 45 seconds in order to get there. I would just jump off there, take the damage, because it's really not that much. And at this point, you should have enough hearts to be able to absorb that fairly quickly. So, now we're going to head back into Zora's River. And you're going to want to just follow the water, essentially. And just let the water take you where you need to go. You can actually jump into the water here, and that may have been a better idea, but I chose the land instead, which probably wasn't the best choice. I would follow it along the backside here, the backside of this rock formation that you can actually like climb up on top of. And eventually, you won't be able to touch, and the water will take you... Ouch. Got hit by that stupid Octorok. The water will then take you in the current fairly quickly, and then take you out of the Zora's River and back into Hyrule Field. And in order to get to Lake Hylia, we actually are going to need Epona. So, play Epona's song when you reach land. And this was not the right song. Crap. I did the Triforce song. I went through all that stuff about how to remember it with the Triforce and all this symbolic stuff, and then I still played it wrong. Ay, ay, ay. Okay, so play Epona's song correctly, I might add. And when Epona comes running to you, like so, we can hop on. Get up there, Link. We don't have much time. And we're going to be going to Lake Hylia, which is on the complete other side of Hyrule. So we're going to be going pretty much straight across, and then we can take the easternmost wall and just kind of follow it around, and eventually it will lead us to a fence that we can hop over. What did you even stop for, Epona? There's nothing there. What the hell was that? I didn't run into a sign. I didn't run into a tree stump. That makes no sense to me whatsoever. Okay, moving on. So we're going to go past the Gerudo Fortress area here. And this is probably the quickest way, I'm guessing. And you are going to want to make good use of those carrots, as always. And in fact, use most of them if you can. In the corner, in the south, I guess, what is the southwesternmost corner of Hyrule Field, you can jump over those fences there. And this will take you to Lake Hylia. And we have not been here as an adult yet. But it looks a lot different than what it did in the past, because obviously there's no water. The lake is completely dried up, and that must be as a result of the curse that Sheik was speaking of, that also has Zora's River and, well, not Zora's River, Zora's Domain all frozen. Anyway, stop at the house right here, and I suggest you use the couple of extra seconds that you do have to reposition Epona facing outwards, because you are going to be under another time limit again after we're done here. Oh wow! I haven't seen an eyeball frog like this since Zora's Domain froze over. These eyeballs are so delicious. Tonight I will cook fried eyeballs for the first time in a oh god, that is disgusting. Fried frog eyeballs? Are you serious, old man? Seriously, who eats that stuff? These are for making Biggoron's eye drops? Oh, how disappointing! You should have said so in the first place. Well, you didn't give me a chance. You were just talking about eating frog eyeballs. Getting way too excited. Crazy old man. Here it is. And he's going to hand us the eye drops. This medicine doesn't have any preservatives in it, so let me guess. So it won't last long at this temperature. Fantastic. Run as fast as you can to Death Mountain. You're young. You can do it. And Death Mountain, of course, is about as far away from Lake Hylia Hylia, whatever. It's about as far away from Lake Hylia as you can possibly get. I don't think it can get much farther away, considering we have to go to the top of Death Mountain, so we're going to have to use almost all of the 4 minutes that are allotted for us to complete this task. So, no, Epona, stop doing that. You need to just calm down and stop freaking out every time you hit a hill. Goodness gracious. Okay, so, riding Epona, of course, you can jump over these fences, no problem. And, whatchamacallit, Death Mountain, of course, is on the other side of Lon Lon Ranch. It's also on the other side of Kakariko Village, so we do have a ways to go. So you're going to want to head in a northeastern direction, as Death Mountain and Kakariko Village are located in the northeasternmost part of Hyrule Field, as compared to Lake Hylia's southwesternmost location. It'll take you probably a little over a minute to get there with your horse. If you don't have Epona, stop doing that. If you don't have Epona, I would forget about this completely. You're just not going to have enough time. And like I said before in the previous timed events, you cannot warp at all. So you can't play the Bolero Fire to just warp yourself to the Death Mountain crater and then go right up. Doesn't work that way. I do suggest, if you want to save some time, you can run going backwards like this. You do some side jumps and all that stuff. Even if you aren't completely accurate with it, like with what I am, because I'm not very good at doing this, you still will be able to shave a few seconds off of your time, which is exactly, of course, what you want to do, because you need to get to the top of Death Mountain as soon as you possibly can. And we're almost kind of sort of there. We have 2 minutes left, but we still have quite a ways to go. So one thing I do recommend getting in order before you attempt this is to make sure that the magic bean plant is planted and ready to go over here, because this will also shave a few seconds off of your time as well, because it can take you pretty much up to the hole where the cow was, and it'll take you right up to where these boulders are as well. So rather than trying to run up that whole thing, that'll definitely make your time a little bit faster. You're going to need a bow, because once you get up to the wall, you're going to have to shoot down those skull wall tullas, because they will knock you off, and they're not afraid to do so. So, of course, you could also use your hook shot, but it's just better to use the bow. Sacrifice the 3 arrows. This way you can also lure that red Tektite off from the top. And he already jumped off. I saw him jump down. But if he has not jumped down yet, you want to make sure you jump. Well, not jump. You want to make sure you are climbing up the left side of the wall, because if you do it on the right, he has a much better chance of hitting you and knocking you off. And that will force you to take at least an extra 20 seconds to climb back up, and that could be bad. We made it with 50 seconds left to spare, though. Really? You brought the eye drops? I'm so relieved. I'm going to use them right now. And it sounds so gross, but he's using the eye drops with no preservatives. Wow! He's ready to go. This is stimulating. It's working great. Now I can get back to my blade business. My work is not very consistent, so I'll give this to you so you won't forget. After a few days, please return. Wait, just wait patiently. So we get the Biggoron sword claim check, and that means we have to come back in 3 days. So I'm just going to be playing the Sun Song repeatedly, and I'll skip over that because I got to play it like a ridiculous amount of times. Okay, so it's been 3 days. And now we can talk to him, show him the claim check. That sword is my finest work. And we have received the Biggoron sword. This blade was forged by a master smith and will not break, unlike the giant's knife that you can receive from Biggoron, who is inside of Goron City. I'm not even going to mess around with that. because that giant's knife will break. The Biggoron sword never breaks. It does twice as much damage as the Master Sword. The only downside is that you cannot use your shield while you have the Biggoron sword out, and that can cause some problems sometimes. But it can also kill enemies ridiculously fast, especially bosses. It can just end the battle pretty much prematurely, which is good news for you. Anyway, that's going to be the end of this episode, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and please stay tuned, ouch, for episode number 40. Game on.